Switzerland comes into the match against Argentina with a very particular mix of respect, ambition, and a confidence that at times may sound uncomfortable to the Argentine world. This is not a team showing up in the quarterfinals just to enjoy the moment, take pictures with Lionel Messi, or accept the role of a worthy victim against the world champion. Switzerland arrives after surviving an extremely tough battle against Colombia, after qualifying on penalties, after breaking a historic barrier and reaching the World Cup's top 8 for the first time in more than 7 decades. And precisely because of that, the message from its coach, Yakin, was clear. Absolute respect for Argentina? Yes. Fear? None. The Swiss coach spoke in the preview with a calm tone, but every phrase left something to analyze. He did not raise his voice. He did not look for cheap provocation. He did not say Argentina was weak, nor did he try to diminish the value of what Lionel Scaloni's team has been doing. But between the lines, he did leave a strong, almost challenging idea. For Switzerland, Argentina no longer seems invincible. It is still huge. It still has Messi. It is still the world champion, but it has also shown cracks, and Switzerland believes those cracks can be attacked. Argentina is an extraordinary team, with players who have defined an era and with a competitive mentality that we all know, Yakin would have begun by saying. But this World Cup is also proving that no one wins on name alone. Argentina has had to suffer a lot. It suffered against Cape Verde, it suffered against Egypt, and it is going to suffer against us as well if we play the match we need to play. That phrase already set the tone for the press conference, because Yakin did not speak from passive admiration. He spoke from the conviction of a coach who feels his team has arguments. For him, Switzerland must not go out to hide or wait for the minutes to pass or defend a draw from the very first second. Switzerland must compete with order, yes, but also with personality. The most controversial point came when he was asked specifically about Messi. The Swiss coach chose his words carefully, but he did not avoid entering a sensitive area. Messi is probably the greatest player we have seen in our lives. There is not much more to add about him. But we cannot play against Messi's history. We cannot play against his Ballon d'Ors, against his old goals, against what he did in 2014 or in 2022. We have to play against the Messi of this match, against the Messi who will be in front of us for 90 or 120 minutes. And that Messi, even though he remains decisive, also needs Argentina to protect him more and more. The phrase hit hard because it touched on a topic that always sparks debate in Argentina: the team's emotional and footballing dependence on Messi. Yakin did not say Messi was finished. He did not say he could no longer change a match. Quite the opposite. He acknowledged his greatness. But he also implied that Argentina, in this World Cup, still revolves too much around him. When a team has Messi, it always has a solution. But sometimes it can also have a temptation, waiting for Messi to solve everything. And if we manage to make Argentina expect too much from him, if we manage to cut off the circuits and force them to play uncomfortably, the match can change, he would have explained. Then came the spiciest statement of the entire preview. Yakin was asked whether Argentina receives special treatment, because it is the world champion, because it has Messi, and because of the weight it represents for the tournament. The coach did not directly accuse anyone, but he left a phrase that quickly began to circulate. Argentina no longer wins only because of football. It also wins because many opponents start the match playing against the badge, against Messi, and against fear. We do not want to make that mistake. That was, without a doubt, the most controversial phrase, not because he talked about referees, or because he accused FIFA, or because he said Argentina receives direct help. It was controversial because it attacked something deeper: the psychological influence generated by the Argentine jersey. For Yakin, many teams lose part of the match before playing it. They feel inferior, they freeze, they are overwhelmed by the context, and Switzerland does not want to fall into that trap. If we go in thinking we are facing a myth, we have lost. If we go in thinking we are facing 11 footballers, we can compete. That is the difference, he would have said. Yakin also offered a tactical reading of Argentina. In his view, Scaloni's team still has an enormous ability to compete in decisive moments, but it has lost some control compared to other versions. Argentina used to dominate you through the ball and through emotion. Now, at times it seems more vulnerable. It still has character, it still has hierarchy, but it leaves spaces. And when it leaves spaces, you have to dare to run. If we only defend, sooner or later they will find us. If we attack intelligently, we can hurt them. The Swiss coach paid special attention to Argentina's comeback against Egypt. For him, that match showed both sides of the champion, its enormous ability not to give up, but also its problems when the opponent plays without an inferiority complex. Egypt hurt Argentina because it did not go out just to watch. It went out to compete. It went out to press, to run, to fight for every ball. Then Argentina reacted, as it always does, because it has enormous players. But the message is there. If you dare, Argentina can suffer. Yakin would have insisted that Switzerland cannot base its plan only on resisting. Defending well against Argentina is mandatory, but it is not enough. If all you do is defend, you are waiting for their perfect mistake or your own miracle. We need to have phases with the ball, we need to cool the match down when necessary and speed it up when we find an advantage. Argentina wants to drag you into an emotional match. We need to drag them into an uncomfortable match. He also spoke about pressure, and there he once again left a strong phrase. Switzerland does not have the pressure. We are experiencing something historic. Argentina has the pressure because it is the champion, because it has Messi, because everyone expects it to reach the final. Sometimes, when everyone expects you to win, the match becomes heavier. That reading can be dangerous, but also very intelligent. Switzerland wants to establish the idea that Argentina has more to lose. It wants the match to be played not only on the grass, but also in the mind. It wants to turn its role as the supposed victim into an emotional advantage. Regarding Granit Xhaka, Yakin was emphatic. He said his captain will be key to maintaining the team's balance and ensuring Switzerland does not get swept away by Argentina's intensity. Granit understands these matches. He knows when to speed things up, when to pause, when to talk, when to put in a strong challenge, and when to give the team calm. Against Argentina, you cannot play with nerves. You have to play with a hot head to compete, but with a cool mind to decide. The coach also highlighted the importance of not committing fouls near the box, not giving away free kicks, and not losing balls in central areas. Against Argentina, one bad turnover can be half a goal. They live off those moments. Messi, Julian, Enzo, De Paul, all of them have the ability to turn a loose ball into a clear chance. That is why we have to be aggressive, but not disorganized. When asked whether Switzerland had practiced penalties, Yakin smiled. After what we experienced against Colombia, it would be absurd to say no. At this stage, every detail counts. But you cannot play thinking only about getting to penalties. If you play to survive, normally you do not survive. We want to compete for the entire match. The reference to Colombia was also important, as Switzerland arrives emotionally strengthened. Having overcome a penalty shootout gave it an enormous dose of confidence. But Yakin knows Argentina is a different kind of challenge. Colombia demanded a lot from us, pushed us to the limit. Argentina demands something different from you. It forces you to stay focused even when it seems like nothing is happening. With Messi, 1 second of disconnection can destroy an hour of work. Even so, the coach's final message was one of ambition. We are not in the quarterfinals to applaud Argentina. We are here because we deserve to be here. We respect Messi, we respect Scaloni, we respect everything Argentina represents. But respect does not mean handing over the match. Respect also means truly competing against them. The press conference ended with a phrase that could become Switzerland's slogan before the match. If Argentina wants to eliminate us, it will have to beat us. We are not going to eliminate ourselves out of fear. And that is the heart of the preview. Switzerland does not threaten with spectacle, or with a blowout, or with an impossible tactical revolution. It threatens with something simpler and more dangerous: belief. Believing that Argentina can be hurt. Believing that Messi, even though he is still Messi, is no longer enough on his own to scare everyone. Believing that an organized, brave, and emotionally stable team can give the world champion an uncomfortable night. For Argentina, the match will be much more than a quarter-final clash. It will be another test against an opponent that does not seem willing to surrender to the weight of the jersey. For Switzerland, it will be a historic opportunity. For Messi, perhaps another night in which the whole world once again watches to see whether he can still bend destiny. And for Yakin, the plan is clear. Do not play against the legend, but against the present. Do not look at the badge, but at the spaces. Do not admire Argentina, but make it uncomfortable. Because according to the Swiss coach, the only way to have a chance against the champion is to step onto the field convinced that history does not play, fear does not defend, and Messi, as eternal as he may seem, can also be forced to suffer.